everyone. This is Michael from Kendo World, and welcome to the latest edition of KED Talk. Today, we're very lucky to be joined by Lyna Maaziz from France. Lyna has been practicing Kendo since she was 12 years old, I believe, and is also the current taisho and captain of the victorious French women's team at the recent European Kendo Championships. So today we're going to be talking to her about her Kendo career, her time in the French national team, and also she has spent time studying in Japan as well. So Lyna, welcome to KED Talk.
Hi everyone, thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you could join us. It's 9 p.m. where I am in Japan at the moment, and is it 2 in the afternoon in France?
Yes, it is.
How's the weather been in Paris today?
Well, a very sunny day, so we're lucky.
Well, we had a very nice start to the morning, which was fantastic when I went to Kendo with my kids. A nice hot sunny day. Then the heavens opened for an hour or so in the afternoon, and now it's boiling hot again at night. So it's been a good day so far. So I suppose let's start at the beginning. So as I mentioned before in your introduction that you started Kendo at the age of 12, what was it that first got you to go to the dojo?
When I was younger, I had practiced judo, but I have to admit that I got bored, and so I stopped. But I still was interested in martial arts. And in 2005, 2006, when I was like 10 or 11 years old, with my family, we moved from the city where we used to live to another city, the city of Maison-Alfort, in the Paris suburb. And the judo club there was very strong, very competitive. So my mother asked me if I wanted to start back judo. And at that time, I had no idea that Kendo was a kind of a confidential martial art. I thought that Kendo was very popular and that I would find a Kendojo everywhere. So I told her, no, I'd like to practice Kendo instead. And maybe that was destiny, because indeed there was a Kendojo in this city. And this is how I started.
So what kept you going then? Was it kind of love at first sight, I suppose, with Kendo?
So in the dojo, there was naginata and kendo. So both would practice at the same time. Only we would divide the dojo in two parts. And what's very cute, so the kendo sensei is Eric Hameau, the son of Claude Hameau. And the naginata sensei is Eric's wife, Cécile Hameau. So okay. Yeah, it's a lovely story. And yeah, my mother was more like, why don't you try naginata? Because it was practiced by women. And in the Kendo club, there was no girl at all, and no one of my age. I was the only teenager at the time. And still, I thought, no, after watching and trying, it seems to me that Kendo is more fun for me. So yeah, I'm going to stick to Kendo. And yeah, that's what I did.
So your parents, it seems then, were quite keen for you to get involved in martial arts. Did they have experience in judo or something else as well?
My father used to practice karate in Algeria. So both my parents are Algerians. They're born and raised over there. And my father came to France to study here. My mother joined him afterwards. They got married, and I'm the eldest. We're 4 children, and the 4 of us were born in France, raised in France. So yeah, he practiced karate when he was in Algeria, but since he arrived in France, he never practiced any kind of martial arts. And my mother, she was more into, we would practice some sport. Didn't necessarily need to be martial arts.
Right.
My sister practiced naginata, actually. So in the same dojo, but one of my brother, he plays water polo, and the other one practices French fencing. So,
oh wow,
yeah.
Have you ever had any challenge with one of your brothers then, like kendo versus fencing?
They tried kendo a little bit, and they were good at it actually, but yeah, it was a lot They couldn't do everything at the same time, so they made their choices. But we never did crossover of French fencing versus kendo fight. Unfortunately, if we have the chance, I'll definitely let you know how it goes.
Yeah, now and again, there's someone pops up on Facebook. I've seen little clips from a dojo somewhere in America, I think it is, in a kendo dojo, someone trying to fight with them at fencing. I actually believe that there was, or there is still a Hanshi Hachidan from Kanagawa Prefecture where I live. But I believe he was also, Kobayashi Sensei, also an Olympic level fencer for the Japan team, I believe. And then, of course, there's in America many years ago, Torao Mori Sensei, who was also a fencing instructor in the US as well as Japan, I believe, as well. So there's kind of a bit of a link there between kendo and fencing, I guess. So we said that you started kendo about the age of 12, and then you became a member of the French national team. It was only 5 years after that.
I have joined the national team group in September 2011. So yeah, 5 years after that. Before that, I was member of the national youth group. So the juniors of the national team, they practice between them with another coach, junior national team coach. At that time, the head coach was Romain Blachon, who played a very big part in my story. So he still is a great person. He's no longer national team youth coach, but yeah, he invited me to join those trainings. That's how I got into the group. And there's the idea that while you practice in the youth group, in the juniors group, you're getting prepared for the next step, which is the senior national team. So there's another question, like what was your competition history before you became a national team member? So yeah, I took part in the youth championships, and I won French national champs 2 times in 2010 and 2011. I got third place in 2009, and at that time, Romain Blachon, he told me, what about you come and join the trainings? So it definitely influenced my kendo, my level, and that's thanks to him and his staff that I could, in 2011, of course, my sensei of the dojo, definitely, but I could join in 2011 the national team group. So at that time, I was in B team. I was not a selected member of A team. So 2011, 2012, it was Novara World Championships year. And so I waited a little bit. I had to prove things, and I got selected for the first time in 2015 for Tokyo World Championships.
That's right, yeah, Tokyo. And so you went to the World Champs in Tokyo and Korea, 2018.
Yes, exactly.
So going back then, just for a little bit to the junior setup, were there many competitions at that level, like within France or within Europe, for the junior type teams?
So I think it's changing, because it seems that there are more competitions for juniors now than I had when I was a teenager, because at my time there was like the national championships, French national championships. Before then, we had in Paris the La Coupe de Paris Jeunes, so it's a open tournament. But yeah, mainly people from Paris and Paris area would take part. In French Open de France, there was also a junior category in individuals and teams at the time. But I don't think it's still the case. I think we no longer have junior categories in French Open. But yeah, from what I remember, and of course regional champ, like every category that you have in the national champ, you would have it in the regional because there's the selection. So yeah, I think that was it. There was a tournament in Amsterdam that was kind of a trial for the juniors team to go there to get experience before going to the European Championships. I was not a member of the junior team who took part in the European Championships, so I did not participate in the Amsterdam competition at the time.
So in amongst that junior team then, or the French junior team, it was made clear to you and the other members that there is a definite path for you to go from that team into the full adult team?
Yeah, it's the motto. It's like we're getting you ready. We're getting you ready now and for what's next. And if you keep going, if you're motivated, if you practice hard, and eventually you would join the senior national team, or at least the group. Then once you're in the group, of course, there are other steps in order to become, like, to join the A team. But still, I think it's the system, in my opinion, is well constructed. If you take the advice, if you practice regularly, if you fit, then that's the path.
Okay. So it's made definitely clear to you then that this is the first step, and yeah, you work hard, train hard enough, and you can make the next step up. So for the people that were with you at the same time, both maybe the boys and the girls in the youth team, have many of them that like the same age level as you, or a little bit older, a little bit younger, have they all progressed into not the national team maybe, but the national group, the training group?
Well, Ito is same age than me, so for example, he's a good reference, I believe.
Right.
That's a good answer. There was also Alice Michaud, who's same age than us, and she was part of the French ladies team from 2013 European Championships in Berlin, and retired after 2017 European Championships in Budapest. So yeah, Alice Michaud is an example. Same generation, I'm thinking like 1992 and 1993 people. Who else is still here? Doesn't come to my mind very easily. So some of them did join the group and stopped afterwards.
Right.
So in 1993, for example, we have Thibaut Molezin, who's the brother of Guillaume Molezin. So yeah, they joined the group, and Guillaume Molezin, of course, was a team member. There was also Ines Loidy's younger brother. He's 1992. He was a junior team member, and he got into the group, but yeah, then he decided to stop. So yeah, people did come in the group, and then depending on life choices, some stayed and some stopped.
But most of the people that are in the national team group, do most of them come from the juniors, or are there quite a lot that just joined that maybe start kendo after they're too old to become a junior member and go straight into the adult group?
So most of them were juniors before.
Right.
There are exceptions, but they're, I would say, great exceptions because of their level and how bright they've been, and they still are. For example, Jonathan Bertou, he wasn't a junior before. Alain Nicolas Dimeo, he wasn't a junior either. And among girls, Laure Ruvoen, for example, who had 2 brilliant championships in 2017 and 2018. So it's not mandatory. And in the current team, Laurent Micou wasn't a junior, or maybe he was, but I don't know that.
Right.
I would say I think he wasn't. So yeah, there are a few examples of people who weren't in the juniors group and did great. So it's not a requirement.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I guess then, yeah, it's probably much more beneficial or much easier maybe to get into the national group if you've gone through the juniors system. So in order to kind of keep that link between the juniors group and the, I suppose, the adults or the main group, are there any cross trainings between the two groups so the full team members can have a look at the younger members, or the full team manager can have a look at the younger members? Are there those type of activities?
Yeah, once a year. Because so the French national championships gather once a month. We practice once a month, and the national gathering that we had before the European Championships, the junior would join and we would practice together. So when I was member of the junior group, I took part in this gathering. And now that I'm a senior group, I also notice, of course, that the juniors are here with us once a year.
Do you think, in your experience of being a junior and then now being a member of the full team, that having these younger ones there with you, or when you were a junior and being able to see the full team, that was a good experience for you? It showed you what you needed to do?
Yeah, it was interesting, of course. Showed me what to do, and also gave me even more motivation, because I thought, yeah, that's where I want to be. That's what I want to do. So sometimes it's important because trainings are very hard, and you need to commit, and any source of additional motivation is more than welcome. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the memory I got from then.
So you were then in with the junior team for about 5 years, was that right? Or
less than this, because I think it was more 2 years and a half, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how old were you then when you became part of the full team group? Would that have been 18? 17 or 18?
I entered at 17, but soon after I got 18, so we can say 18, yeah.
So I'm assuming then that you were by far the youngest in that team at that point?
I was the youngest, and I was very lucky because in the summer, right before joining, the French national team decided to send 10 people, so 5 men and 5 women, to take part in the Hungary Cup in Budapest. So that was in 2011, and I was among the 5 girls. So for me, it was a dream coming true. I thought, yeah, I'm not just joining, I'm joining, and it seems that I'm part of the project. They want me to get experience. So I was really thrilled and happy. And even though I didn't got selected before 2015, there was other occasions like this, like Alessandria tournament or other kind of open in Europe, where the national team sent me to get experience. So of course my goal was to become an A-team member, but in the meantime I had the feeling that I wasn't ignored. I was part of the project, I was part of the team, I was given my chance, and it would only be in my hands to make it become true or not.
Right.
And it's a very good management. I think it's important because that's how that's mindset. All the coach always say the French national team, it's not only the 18 members, it's the whole group. We train together, we practice together, we sweat together. So we all belong to the same organization. It's not just the 5 people who fight in the European Championships, not just the 7 who go there. It's the whole group. The whole group is the national team. So yeah, that's how I felt at the time, and I still believe it's true.
So that's great. So this you just mentioned a little while ago, the Hungary Cup or the Budapest Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, so competitions like that you said, there were other ones that were not the EKC or the WKC. For those competitions that the French would send a men's and women's team to, were those the A team fighters, or was it kind of maybe 2 or 3 of the A team members and 2 or 3 of the junior members, or was it kind of more the B team type
They
player?
would mix. Usually, they would try to mix. To have some balance. Even into we did Hungary Cup in 2011. So at that time I was 17, and then we did it again in 2013. And in 2011, it was only for the girls, not for the guys, but for the girls, it was only B team girls. But in 2013, it was a mix. And for the boys, in 2011, it was only 18 members, I believe. Yeah, I think so. That's what I remember. But in 2013, they mixed too.
Okay.
So it also depends on the coaches, of course. They would make choices because it wasn't the same coach in 2011 and in 2013.
Right.
So yeah, it depends on the coaches, but usually the vision is to help the BT members to get experience in order to prepare them in case they would become 18 members. So yeah, I think sometimes they mix and sometimes they give chances to B team people.
I think I remember one of these KED talks, we spoke to Christian Filippi from Italy several months ago now. And I think his first World Champs was, I believe, 2003. And I think he said that was his first big tournament and didn't do well in the first match, so got subbed out for the second match. And then the person that replaced him didn't do well either. So he ended up getting back into the team and then did well. But it seems like the French team, from what you've been telling me so far, that there seems to be a real big effort and a real clear plan for the younger members to get a lot of valuable experience and then gradually build up their exposure to the A team and to those people that I suppose they're senpai and can learn from them. It seems like a really good setup, which is quite obvious it is because of the success that the French team have had in the EKC over not just this year, but many years as well. So that was the Budapest Cup or
Hungary Cup, I think.
Sorry, Hungary Cup in 2011 and 2013.
Yes.
First EKC or WKC? Which came first, EKC or WKC?
WKC.
Oh, so after 2013, then your first A-team tournament, I suppose, was the World Champs in Tokyo.
Yes.
Wow, what a place to make your debut at the Nippon Budokan. So from how long before, so that World Champs was in 2015.
Yeah.
How long before that did you realize, or were you told that you were going to be part of the, maybe not the actual team, but part of the squad? When did you find that out?
So the team is announced at the time of the closure of the registrations.
Oh,
so
right.
Compared to other countries, usually we're about the last to know. Like usually our European friends in other countries, they ask us like, yeah, do you know? Because it's been announced in our country. And yeah, we're almost the last to know. So yeah, the championships took place in May. So we might have heard in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the run up to that March, how many training sessions, or when did the selection process begin? For obviously the deadline is March to submit your team to the International Kendo Federation, but from before then, how often were you meeting, and how long were you aware that this was the selection period?
It's always the selection period. It starts in September with the start of the season, and it ends at when they announce the selection. So usually we don't have summer trainings, but there are a few exceptions. So for example, when we started back after COVID, because there were some kind of training windows because French legislation was changing. So we had a few French national team gatherings in the summer, but usually the regular season, the regular pattern is we start in September and it finishes in June. So June is after the World or European Championships. So there is not so much at stake, but from September until the moment they announce, it's like, yeah, every training is a selection process. And so Tokyo World Championships took part in May 2015, and the French coaches, they decided to send 14 or 15 people to Japan for summer camp in August 2014, so almost 1 year before the WKC. Mm-hmm. And I was in the group. So it was kind of a clue that I had my chances. Because there was there were two other camps before. In 2012 in Korea, in order to get the team prepared for Novara World Championships, and I wasn't selected for the training camp. And there was another one in AJKF. It was in winter before the 2013 European Championships, and I wasn't in there either. So when I received information that I was selected for the summer training camp in 2014, I realized, okay, so maybe that's my chance, and maybe I can make it to go to the World Championships. So even though the selection process started in September, of course, what we did and the way we practiced in Japan in August was already, I'd say, a phase of observation.
So you already kind of had a little bit of a foot in the door already at that point to be part of the team. You think you were, maybe the managers were already looking at you thinking, all right, maybe Lyna's in with a shout. Okay. So that was your first trip to Japan for Kendo? Yes. And sorry, where was it you went to at that first time?
So we did a 3-part summer camp. First, we arrived in Nara. We had some practice in Yagyu. It's in Nara Prefecture.
Okay.
Then we went to Osaka Police. And then we went to Wakayama because Kokushikan University were having their gashuku there. And we had the great opportunity, great chance to be invited to take part in some of their gashuku. It was like 1 week, I think. So that's how I discovered Japan.
Right. So how did you find your first WKC then, being part of the French team?
I was very honored. I was also very stressed, of course. I wanted to make a good impression. I wanted to show that I deserved to be selected. I wanted France to be proud. You know, there's something like you represent the country, so I wanted to show that I could give a good performance, and I was worthy to be there. And eventually, my sensei, my senpai, my friends would be proud of me. So yeah, that's how I felt. It was tough. I fought in individuals only. I didn't manage to make out of the pool. I had a Korean girl for the first fight, and then Sabrina Kumpf for the second fight.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and with Sabrina Kumpf, we did Hikiwake, then we went to Ensho, because even though it's pools, we still would have, and then lost. So I lost 2-0 against the Korean girl. So yeah, from a winning perspective, that clearly wasn't a great performance. But it was still interesting because, well, that's the level. You don't go to the World Championships just to like, it's not just to wave your shinai and just happy to be here. You also need to confront yourself and to realize what's the level there. And so I realized.
So what was the biggest lesson that you learned then from that World Champs?
So this is when I realized that I wanted to go to Japan to practice more, and eventually to live in Japan to practice more, because I really was aware of a gap. I thought I was at the international level because I was so motivated and I really wanted to, and there was like my expectations, my motivation, what I wanted, but then the reality of the tournaments, the reality of life. So no matter how much will you have, then there's the reality of the schedule. And so I thought I need to train so much more. I need to get stronger. And if I want to make something, if I want to get results, clearly that something must be done, something must change. And well, I thought going to Japan and train very hard with the best in the world, that might help me be stronger.
So that was 2015 then. So when did you come to Japan? Because you studied in Japan for 2 years, right? Is it 2 years?
Yes.
So yes. When did those 2 years start?
So in September 2017. But before that, right after the Tokyo tournament, I went back to Japan in July for a 5 weeks training session in Kokushikan University. And I did that again in summer 2016, so the year after. And then in 2017, in August, I don't think it was July, I'm pretty sure it was August, with Marine Vandenberg, who is a teammate, we went to Japan for 1 month again, and we practiced in several police. So I did travel to Japan to study in September 2017 and stayed there for 2 years. But before that, I organized myself. I saved money, had summer jobs in order to be able to go to Japan during the summer vacation to train.
So just for those people that are listening, that just in case they haven't heard of it, but Kokushikan University, along with Tsukuba University and Chuo and Hosei and a couple of others, is one of the toughest high school university kendo clubs in Japan. It's produced many All Japan champions, and many Hachidan sensei as well have come from Kokushikan University. How did you feel about training with the boys and girls there? How did you find it?
There is a kind of a partnership between Kokushikan University and French Federation. They come every year to take part in the French Open. And so
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So like sensei from Kokushikan, they know the federation, they know the coaches, and many French people have practiced in Kokushikan when they visit Japan. So lots of my French national senpais, they've been there. Pauline went there, Pauline Stolarz. She went there once in summer. And my sensei, Philippe Labaille, he even practiced there for 1 year when he was younger. He was 24 years old, I believe. So yeah, Claude Prévost also spent there 1 year, and Marika Fournier, who was a member of the French ladies national team, she also spent 1 year there. So there was nothing new about me going there as a French person. I was just, I'd say, another member of the chain, but still, I enjoyed that very much. I was, the welcome was very warm. The girls were great. They taught me a little bit of Japanese, a few words. I didn't know anything at the time. So after that, I decided to study Japanese.
Right.
And the trainings were very tough, for sure. It was very difficult. It was very physical. From an athletic point of view. My sensei, Philippe Labaille, has prepared me on this both aspects. So from technical and kendo point of view, but also physical, because clearly that is not my strength. So I'm very grateful to him. He has helped me a lot. And still is helping me a lot. And because he knows what Kokushikon's training looked like, he was in a very good place to prepare me for this. And so when I went there, of course, it still was very tough. It still was very hard, but everybody was very nice. The girls were very smiling. The sensei took good care of me. They gave me amazing advice, and I really think it helped me getting better. So that was the point. That was the goal, and thanks to all the people, it was a great experience. And also Yuki Sekiguchi, who is member of the current group, he studied the whole program at Kokushikan University.
Oh wow, so 4-year course.
Yes.
Oh wow.
He's born in France. Both his parents are Japanese, and he completed the degree 4 years at Kokushikan University. So he was there when I went there in summer, and he helped me, for example, with translation.
Right.
Not only this, we could hang out a little bit and have fun. So yeah, really, it was amazing. I made friends there. I made friends with the girls. Some students, we still have contacts. We still send messages to each other. So I really have good memories of those trips and training sessions at the university.
So just going back a little bit, you said after your first WKC that you realized that you needed to get stronger. So obviously there's the kendo aspect of things. Did you do any other types of training, so weight training or more running or aerobics or I don't know, anything like that to get you in a better condition physically?
Yeah, I started running when I got the information that I would join the summer camp of August 2014. So I heard about that in spring maybe. So I ran 1 hour a day every day from this moment until Tokyo WKC.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And after that, I kept running. I'm running, but not as often as I did at that time. I don't do weight. I don't practice other sports. Philippe Labaille, so my sensei, he would sometimes prepare some programs. Because running, there are, of course, different type of running. So different style, different exercise, different way of exercising. So yeah, he would tell me like from this moment to this moment, you should try more this kind of running, and then you should move to this other side of it. And so he's helped me a lot with this. I'm passionate about soccer. since the World Cup in France in 2019. So yeah, I haven't started playing soccer, but yeah, sometimes sometimes I wonder, like, if I did, would that be helpful for kendo? Would that be of any help? I don't know yet, but I'm still not doing it. I don't have enough time. If I do someday, I will tell you.
So that was the world champs then. So then after 2015, you went into the European champs the next year?
Yes.
So you did the European champs in 2016, 17?
Not 17.
Oh, not 17. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I made a break of the national team in 2017 and then came back.
Okay. So I was just looking at the results of the French team over the past years. I'm just talking about the European Kendo Championships here. So to date, up until now, there was obviously supposed to be a European Championships in 2020 in Norway, I think, but that got cancelled. But so there's been 30 championships so far. So the men's team have won it 23 times out of 30, and only once not finished in the top 4. For the women's team event only started in 1993 in Finland, and the women's team have won it 5 times in that time. Germany, I think, 7 victories, are kind of a little bit ahead at the moment, but that's an incredible run, really, for both the men's and the women's team. To have, and I should also mention that the women's team, since in every I'm sure you know, but in every competition, every EKC that they've been in, they've not finished outside of the top 4. So you've always finished third, bronze, silver, or gold. So that's an incredible run, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we have a lot of support. So French Federation, the Comité National de Kendo belongs to the French Judo Federation. So first, we are very lucky to have a financial support. Mm-hmm. So it's important, because if we do not have to think about, okay, we need to save our money and spend our money and everything, it's a comfort. We only have to focus on kendo, on physicality, and mental skills. So we need to say it because it's true, and so it's helping. Another thing is that organization. Well, like I told you, we have regularly training once a month. Plus, we have the other open taikais in several countries in Europe. So there is an organization that allows us to practice regularly and to challenge ourselves regularly to learn from it. And then another explanation, I think it's the senpai kohai thing. French team has been successful from the beginning, and it's not like when people retire, they completely abandon the competition thing. They would still look after us. They would give us advice. We would practice with them. And so this is important. It's kind of like a intergeneration thing that is helping improving the level, building the next generation in order not to have a cut, or the link is still here, and everyone still is involved in a way or another.
And all their experience is not going to waste as well. They're able to channel that down, I guess, into the newer people that are coming through as well.
Yeah, and we have had some national gathering where the former team were invited, and that's great.
Oh, right.
So, from Nadadan Sensei, Claude Prevot, Jean-Pierre Labru was captain for many years, And it's not like, oh, I'm no longer captain, so I'm not helping the young ones. It's the very opposite. So these sensei and younger members, like younger former members, Jean-Nicolas Hortevin, Hervin Yonnet, Guillaume Sicard, yeah, they Alan Soulas. Well, I can quote many others. For the ladies team, we have Sabine Loustalé, Perret, donc Nadia Soulas, yeah, many of them. Aurelia is she's no longer in the team, but she stayed so long and she retired so lately that I do not consider her like same generation, even though she was in this generation. Mm-hmm. But for these people who retired long ago to still come and practice with us and take part in the national gathering, it's definitely helping.
Mm-hmm. So there was, as I mentioned before, there was supposed to be the European Championships in Norway in 2020, and then the World Championships was supposed to be in France in 2021. And obviously, because of Corona, COVID-19, that both of those tournaments got cancelled. How disappointing was it for you to not be able to take part in a home World Championships?
Well, it was very disappointing. I remember when we heard the news, it was during a national team training. So, yes, I remember it was in the city of Maison Lafitte. Axel Diebod was coach at that time. And after the training, we were still lined up, in César. We just took our men off. And that's how we got the news. So, yeah, we were very sad. I was very sad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when the European Championships were cancelled, we were at the top of the pandemics. It was unavoidable.
Yeah.
Everybody was disappointed, but there was no other way out. But for the French World Championships, it was moved, 1 year later. And so we all had this goal. We have had Zoom sessions very regularly, and yeah, we were telling each other, we're doing it for the World Championships at home. We're training for the World Championships at home. That's what we would remind ourselves. And when you suddenly hear that it is not possible to have it, to organize it, then obviously it's heartbreaking. But that's life. There are other worse things. I mean, during this pandemic, worst things that concerning a tournament have happened. So even though it's very sad, it has been, and it still is. Of course, we need to remember that there are other things that are worse and of much more importance.
Yeah. So were you able to still then, because obviously there's the 2022 European Championships only finished last month. So were you still able to keep that momentum going from those trainings? Was it hard to keep the motivation together in order to prepare for 2022? Were you able to keep training often enough? I don't know what the situation was like in France, but obviously in Japan, trainings are still not 100% back to what they used to be like. There's still, some of them are still, the numbers have to be kept down a little bit, or you have to register in advance. You have to submit health check forms and things like that. Not everything. It's still not 100% back to normal, but how was the situation in France then for that?
Well, in France, it's easier and easier. So when the season started in September, I think, because we have had a training in summer, in June or July. It was the first one since, we haven't had one in a year. I think. Because I remember, so the one where we were told that the World Championships were cancelled was in summer. And then we couldn't have another one until the next summer. So that make us to summer 2021, right? Yeah. And so we have had one training to summer 2021, and then stop in August, and then we got back in September or October. I think it was September, maybe October. And at that time, we still needed to wear masks, and there was we needed to show that we got vaccinated.
Right.
And there was some organization like that. But with time, everything went into the regulation got more smooth. So we weren't obliged to wear masks anymore, but still a shield, and then even the shield is not mandatory. The regulation, the rules got easier. So we didn't have to cancel a training or a national team gathering since the start of the season.
Okay, so it's been kind of, I suppose, fairly easy for you then to keep the momentum going, to keep training at a high enough level in order to, well, obviously it worked because both the men's and the women's French team are now European team champions. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So was this recent European Championships, was that your first as taisho and as captain?
So I was taisho in 2019 European Championships. I wasn't really captain. At that time, I was still living in Japan. So I have been 2 years, I've been living 2 years in Japan, from September 2017 to August 2019. I've been there for my doctoral dissertation. I'm a PhD candidate, and I did a research trip in Yokohama National University. And so I was still a member of the team, but obviously I couldn't have responsibilities. It's normal because I was far away from the team. But I still had to go back while I was living in Japan. So I went back 3 or 4 times, I think, in 2 years. And so in 2019, like when the team lines up, I was fighting in taisho position, except from the final where I was moved to juken. Final that we lost to the Dutch ladies. We got silver medal that time. And in 2020, the championship was cancelled, and it was announced that I was named captain in the starting of this season, so September or October 2021.
So how did that affect you at all, becoming captain? I mean, how did you deal with that responsibility?
I have had 2 great examples of captain, Pauline Stollars and Aurélia Blanchard, and they gave so much to the team. They were very role models. They were strong in kendo, nice persons. They gave advice. So I thought, okay, this is going to be quite a challenge because they've done so great, and I wanted to do great as well. They are an inspiration to me. I still ask them things, I still send them messages, or when I meet her, because Aurélia was Shimpan. So I still ask them things. I still ask advice from them, and I'm happy to be able to talk to them about this, and to sometimes share my views or my doubts. I hope to be a good captain. It's not me to say. The girls would say better than I do. But at least I can say that I realized something was changing, that I had a role, a part to play in the team, and I made efforts to help the team be successful. And obviously, I'm very, very happy with the results, because the girls are great. They're strong, and I'm so happy of the performance that we did and we got at Frankfurt. So yeah, I hope that in some way, in one way or another, I might have helped with this, and maybe I have something to do with it.
So are you going to continue being captain for next year, or has that not been decided yet? Do they normally change captain every year, or?
So this year, now we have Nathalie Grossin as a coach of the women's team, and we don't know yet. So she took the job before the start of the season, a little bit before, but because we had no gathering, she was joining our Zoom sessions. But yeah, so the way the process changed with the coach. So in my experience, I've had like 5 different coaches. Yeah. And I don't know yet because it's the beginning. So I will see. If we have another chance to talk, I will let you know.
So you're on kind of the off season now then for the French Kendo. So what have you got planned for this summer then? You're just going to be relaxing or doing some other types of training?
Yeah, I'm going to keep training because now that we've won, we want to win again. We still have work to do. And we didn't get results in individuals. For the French ladies, Lucas won for the men, but for the ladies we didn't get results. So even though I'm very happy, of course I'm not content, I'm still not satisfied, and I still have work to do personally. So I'm gonna keep training, but also I intend to focus on on the writing of my PhD dissertation. I need to make progress in the writing.
Yeah, that's not an easy task. So once you've got your PhD, are you planning to come back to Japan for work?
I don't know yet.
Or study?
I don't know yet. I'd like to become a university teacher. So I aim for the academic career. Maybe, why not a postdoc in Japan, for example? Why not? Now I don't know yet. I need to write first.
I was thinking earlier, we were talking about you did the 2 years at Yokohama National University. I think that was around then. It's the first time we met in Japan, wasn't it? Was that the first time we met at the Gakuren Taikai, or was it at the Kendo World Keikokai? I think you came to one of them, didn't you?
Yes, I think it was Gakuren Taikai.
Gakuren Taikai. And I think that was that tournament. There was you and Caroline and Anna. And oh dear, I've forgotten the names of Mara from the US and Clara, I think it was. I think that was the best result that the ladies of the foreign university team had placed in the Gakuren Taikai, and that's a really hard competition, that one. So yeah, great job on that. Obviously, that tournament has been cancelled for the last couple of years for COVID. But yeah, hopefully they are planning on doing it again in this December. But whether it will go ahead or not, I don't know. Still, maybe it would go ahead without any spectators. But for those of you that don't know about the Gakuren Taikai, it's the university alumni tournament. And I think the last one that I went in was actually, the last one you went in. There were 1,200 competitors for men's and women's. The men's team is much bigger. There's more men's teams, but it's a really high level tournament with loads of Hachidan sensei taking part in it as well. But yeah, for the foreign university graduates team, that was your one was the best result that they've had so far. So hopefully you can make it back again, and Caroline and Anna will still be here and waiting for you, I think.
I would love to.
Yeah, hopefully it will go ahead. Yeah. Right. Well, we've been talking for about an hour now. I think the time has absolutely flown past. So, Lyna, thank you very much for the time that you've spent with us today.
Thank
Many
you.
congratulations on your, not just your, but the men's team as well as success in the recent European Championships. And from what you've told me about the setup in the French team today, I think it's quite clear why there's been so much success since, well, in all of the European Championships that the men's and the women's teams have taken part in. So I guess there'll be managers or captains from other European teams who'll be listening to this interview and trying to get some decent bits of information to hopefully make their teams stronger as well. So, Lyna, yeah, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks very much, everyone, for listening into this. And yeah, keep looking out for the next edition of KED Talk coming soon. Thank you very much.
Bye.